All right, it is that time of the week again, you guys. Welcome back into the One Piece Chapter 1144 post-game show, where we're going to read through the comment section of the full spoiler video and see what the takeaway was, what theories are being cooked up, and what is the talk of the town. So with that being said, without further ado, let's just get into it. All right, time to scoot over to the side. You know, it's funny because we have that transition and you'd think I would just like already be here, but no, I still gotta like move my chair over. Okay, top comment says, it would be one of the biggest plot twists if Gunko joins the Straw Hats just to be with Brook. I don't think it's gonna happen, right? But a brother can dream. I love Gunko. I mean, I know we barely have anything of her, but I think she's interesting. I think her devil fruit is really cool. And it's me, right? I know this is a me thing, but I feel like if we were to get another Straw Hat, our 10th and final member, I think I would want it to be a girl, right? Whether it's Gunko, Vivi, Bonnie, or Yamato, I'm on board. I just feel like right now there's so many guys on the crew. We need one more gal, right? We got Nami and Robin, and then we just have an absolute sausage fest with the rest of them, right? So yeah, Gunko joining us, I don't think it has any real merit, but it's a cool idea nonetheless, right? I mean, she could just be like a super fan, and she could like want to join the Grand Fleet, or maybe like she's the first Celestial Dragon that gives up. I don't know, like, when it comes to Brook fans, they're kind of diehards, right? Like, everybody we've met so far in the story that likes Brook's music, they fight for him, right? Like, thinking back to Sabaody, they all were willing to go against the Marines just to make sure Brook gets with the Straw Hats. So maybe Gunko's gonna be that character, but he hasn't shown it yet. I would have loved if we just had a one-liner about Brook, because we haven't gotten that. Like, just one line, like last chapter when she's like, oh, the Straw Hats are off the coast. You know, I saw the Straw Hat ship. That means he's here. Ooh, that would be good. Or even in this chapter, you know, when she's jamming out to the music and she just says, it's almost time. We needed that. We needed that. All right, so the comment right down below that one says, the way Oda and his editors hyping up Gabon, it's giving me the same vibes as when Garp pulled up to Pirate Island. I hope it doesn't end the same way. I think it will. It's tough, brother. When it comes to characters that are out of their prime in One Piece, they always perform really well. They get their flowers in the battle they're in, but they usually just don't stick the landing because they're not in their prime anymore, right? And I think that's fair, right? Garp is a prime example. You mentioned him. He went to Hachinosu, Galaxy Impact, over here blitzing Avala Pizarro. He's doing everything. But at the very end, he had to give himself up, right? Of course, it's not like he lost. He actually stayed back to save his pupils. And then, of course, he also took a sword blow for Kobe. So there's a lot going on there. But characters, when they're older, they even acknowledge that they're just not that guy anymore, right? Like another example would be Whitebeard at Marineford. I think Crocodile was the one who got really mad at him, saying, hey, Whitebeard, you're letting these bums stab you? Where's the Whitebeard I respected and feared? And then Whitebeard had the inner monologue where he was like, Crocoboy, I'm not that guy anymore. I'm just a human, dude. We all age. So yeah, age really strikes you. Another one would be Rayleigh, right? Rayleigh, again, looked amazing, but at Sabaody, he was like, you know, I'm kind of old, man. Like, I can't do everything by myself. And then we go over to Amazon Lily, where Blackbeard showed up, and even Rayleigh said, yeah, like, you know, Blackbeard, he might win. Like, I'm glad he just left. So yeah, like, I think Scopper is going to be the same way. I think for a solid 10 chapters, Scopper will look amazing, but it might be that last chapter where he kind of fumbles a little bit. It could be because of Colin. It could even be because of Ripley, right? Like, maybe one of them is in danger and he steps in, kind of like Garp, and he takes a blow for them, which would suck, but I don't think he's going to die, though. I hope Scopper doesn't die. I hope he makes it out A-okay. I mean, he even told us, like, hey, you know, if Elbaf is still safe by the end of this, Luffy, Zoro, guys, come visit me again. So hopefully we do see him, and he just doesn't pass away during this battle. Alright, so this comment says, Sai, you forgot to mention that it was Jarul who told the Straw Hats that they should not get involved at all. To me, this completely confirms my running theory that Jarul is the traitor, because he knows the Straw Hats, and Luffy in particular, can and will deal with the 2 invaders that were announced in the spoilers. From Loki last chapter saying to Harden, "Do you really think I killed our father without reason?" to now Jarul telling the Straw Hats to completely stay out of this. He's 100% the traitor on Elbaf. I'm calling it now. I respect it. Of course, I have my own traitor theory with that being Ange, but that's like a silly one. But yes, I have seen the Jarul is a traitor theory popping up more and more as the days go on and as the chapters release. And it's not a theory I necessarily hate. I just don't see why he would be evil yet. Right? Like, I don't see what Jarl's end goal is. Because as it stands right now, Loki killed his dad 6 years ago. And what did Jarl get out of it, right? What did Jarl get out of implicating Loki as the killer and telling the Straw Hats to chill here? Like, does he want the Celestial Dragons to succeed? And if so, to what end? And you have to remember, his great-granddaughter, or great-great-great-granddaughter, is something like that, but his blood relative is the first child in line who's about to get sent onto the Celestial Dragon ship and booted off over to Marie Joie. If Ylva was safe, I would say that there's some shady dealings going on here. Like, maybe Jarl traded Elbaf's safety for his family's safety. I could see that. But because his bloodline is in the march with the kids, I don't think that's the case. Of course, he is the only one who witnessed the Loki versus King Harold fight, and that is really shady. I talked to Brago, and Brago hates Jarl completely, and he doesn't trust him. But my cope for that situation is that Jarl has a sword in his head, right? Like, dude, if I had a sword in my head, I'd forget so much. I'd misconstrue so many events. So that's why I give him a pass for that. And then as far as him telling the Straw Hats not to intervene, my cope for that one is that the Straw Hats are honored guests here in Elbaf, right? Here, let me think of an analogy. You are hosting a house party. You got sausages made, lasagna, vegan spaghetti. What is vegan spaghetti? I don't even know what that is. But you got 5 of your boys coming in. They just saved your dad's life. I don't know how, when, or why. They donated some kidneys. Your dad is safe because of your special guests. So you invite them over for dinner. All of a sudden, during dinner, your sink breaks. Water is spewing everywhere. Yeah, your friends are handymen. They all work in construction and plumbing. They could fix your sink right away. But because you invited them here, because you already owe them so much, you want to fix it yourself. And also, it's your house. That's how I view this. They don't want the Straw Hats to fight because the Straw Hats have already done so much, and this is not their battle. And when you think about it, the Straw Hats aren't even in the line of fire right now either. Only the Giants are. Only the Giant kids are being targeted. So the Straw Hats technically have no skin in the game. So that is why I think Jarl could be completely fine based off of this chapter. But like I said, I do not hate the theory. I am looking at every chapter with a pretty unbiased eye when it comes to Jarl. And if he ever does something that I think is shady, I will point it out. Alright, so this comment says, Gunko's eyes will be popping with cartoon hearts when she faces Brook up close. Will she surrender to him and his music? I think so. I wonder if Gunko would... No, this wouldn't make sense. Well, actually... No, it wouldn't make sense. I was about to say, what if she takes off the bandages around her mouth and we finally see what her face looks like? Maybe she's saving her first kiss for Brook and she covered her lips so that nothing touches them except for him? But Brook has never asked for a kiss before. Brook is the panty guy. So I don't think Gunko would be saving her first kiss for Brook, but I don't know. I'm trying to put some logic behind her design and her character, and I'm coming up with blanks, but as far as the hard eyes go, I think that'd be awesome. Another cool idea would be if Gunko starts singing along with Brook. Like Brook, whenever Brook fights, he whips out the violin, he whips out the guitar, he starts jamming out. What if Gunko actually jumps in and helps him? Hey Sai, don't forget that all the scientists from Egghead are probably on Elbaf. Remember the ship that Dory and Brogy saved from the Marines? That is true. I forgot all about those guys. Would they be in the lab? Or the building that we saw this chapter? The ancient robot facility thing? Maybe. I think that's a tough one. because we never learned where the scientists were going. When Sentomaru sent them off, they were just evacuating. They didn't really have a destination in mind. And then the Giants only came in afterwards, right? The Giants did save the scientists, but would the scientists then see that and then go to Elbaf right after? I don't know. That is a really tough one. As long as they're safe, it doesn't really matter too much. But if they did end up here in Elbaf, I think that'd be a big W, right? Like, we go into that facility and all the scientists ended up here and they all are in that building for some reason. That'd be pretty cool. You know, I would love it if Lilith and Franky just worked together and they had a bunch of people doing the medial work on the side. That'd be perfect. And now, right below, I like this comment too. It's a reply to this one. They say, "Oh, Schneiser, I had assumed that Blackbeard and his crew scooped them up when Devon and Augur showed up on Egghead. But you may be cooking here." Yeah. I mean, that's another option, right? Because Devon and Augur should have passed right by them as well. Yeah, so this right here is actually a really good possibility too. Blackbeard capturing the scientists. I think that makes the most sense. I actually like this one a lot. Because Blackbeard is in the process of obtaining the ancient weapons, right? He's about to get that giant knowledge. So maybe by having Vegapunk's former scientists, he can manufacture himself a mini Mother Flame or like a replica? No, that's too OP. I think that'd be too OP. Huh. You know, the third option is that they just went home, by the way. So Elbaf, Devon, and then home. I'm not too sure which one I like more, but yeah, none of these are bad options, man. The TD on Gunko's headphones equals tone dial. So dial technology from Skypiea has been making its way down from the White Seas to the Blue Seas. Yep. I wonder how they get it, by the way. I wonder if there's a I mean, we have heard that there's other roads that lead to Skypiea. Hopefully we see that soon, right? Because I doubt people are going through the knock-up stream up to Skypiea, then bringing it back down by falling. No. I want to see the road that actually leads up there, the one that we heard about when we first arrived there. And of course, as far as tone dials go, we have known this for quite some time that they exist. But to be fair, we don't see it that often, so if people do forget, I think that's fine. Me, myself, personally, I forgot that tone or tune dials were a thing until Film Red. You know, Luffy whipped out a tone dial during the promo episode, and I was like, what? We have that? What's going on here? All right, so these next two comments say, laboratory again. You sounded like Dexter from Dexter's Laboratory. Laboratory, laboratory. It's a cool word. Hey, they're both technically correct, but I just think laboratory sounds more convoluted, and that's why I like it. So this comment right below says, we finally got the Vegapunk Franky collab. Yeah, all we need to do now is to beat this giant thundercloud, and they're home free. I kind of wonder, though, you know, based off of this last chapter, Ripley, Franky, Bonnie, and Lilith, they beat the thundercloud. What do they do after that? Do they go inside the building and hang out? Or do they rush back over to the rest of the Giants and to the rest of the Straw Hats and assist them? Because I don't know, right? Like, in this chapter, Ripley says that she heard the horn from 2 chapters ago, and she knows that bad things are happening. But despite that, they still continue their adventuring. So, will they rush off after beating the thundercloud, or will they simply just continue onwards? I'm not too sure. I mean, honestly, I don't know. I kind of want a Franky fight. I kind of want a Franky fight. So I want him to go back, but if he were to stay here, I wouldn't be that upset. I want to see Robin, Chopper, and Saw pop off against some of these dream monsters. Maybe Robin and Chopper could learn some armament haki from Saul. And the comment below, or the reply says, yes, please. They could learn some armament haki. I mean, honestly, if Oda whipped out armament haki for Chopper and Robin, and he just said that they knew it for the longest time, and they just never showed it, I wouldn't be shocked either. I mean, we're at that point in the story where we should be leveled up to at least that extent, right? You know, thinking over to the Vice Admirals, Oda came out in a Vivre card. I think it was a Vivre card or SBS, but Oda just flat out said that all the Vice Admirals have basic armament and observation haki. So with that being the case, I mean, if the Straw Hats had basic armament and observation haki, I don't think that would be too game-changing, right? Like, I don't know, man. If the Vice Admirals from Egghead Island all had haki to some extent, give it to Chopper and Robin. You know, give it to Brooke, you know, give it to Franky. Like, I don't think it would do any harm. It wouldn't, like, tip the scales of power scaling, you know what I mean? I feel like it's a very harmless addition. So hopefully they already have it. But if not, maybe they do learn it from Saul. But would this be a teachable moment? Would Saul actually say, hey guys, willpower, please? I don't know. I feel like Saul would just kind of trust them already. Like, dude, this is a Gunko crew. Teaching a Gunko crew haki, basic haki? I mean, I know they don't see it this way, but would I be embarrassed? Maybe. I'm thinking Colin beats up the Elbaf kids to stop the sleepwalking. He can't stand them anyways, so he should be safe from Summer's thorns. And it highlights how important Elbaf's warrior culture is. I love this idea a lot, and it is primarily because of this. Colin is the one kid out of the entire academy that really enjoys being a warrior. He trains, he fights. I mean, hell, when he fought Luffy, all the kids hated him. You know, the kids were like, oh, Colin, you're so freaking scary, man. You know, why are you always fighting? You're so damn violent. They were over here throwing rocks at him, laughing at him, poking fun at him. And now look at what's happening. All those losers are about to get shipped off to Marie Joie. Colin is the one kid that is actively fighting to save them. Well, he didn't say he wanted to save the kids, but he wanted to go to the battlefield, and that's good enough, right? I'd rather be on the battlefield than to be a hostage. So yes, hopefully Colin saves the kids. Hopefully the kids wake up and see that Colin is actually fighting for them, even though they don't like Colin that much. And maybe Colin just shows them like, hey, if we survive this, we should all train, y'all. Like, maybe we should take PE class a little bit more seriously. Could Colin actually make a meaningful impact here, though? I guess that's kind of what it all boils down to. So if I had to put Colin on a certain front, maybe it would be against Killingham, because Killingham is the one who's making them fall asleep, and he's the one bringing out their nightmares. So maybe Colin realizes this or learns this, and he goes after Killingham with the assistance of the Straw Hats, of course, right? We can't just have Killingham versus Colin's 1v1 because Collins would die. So yeah, maybe Collins teams up with either a Straw Hat or his father. They beat Killingham. All the kids wake up. They're happy they're no longer asleep. They're happy their nightmares aren't here anymore. And they realize it's because of Colin. All of the time, we've seen kids with conquerors haki in the story, and that's been in flashbacks. It would be cool if Colin had a rage-induced conquerors haki outburst during Elbaf. It would be sort of a show that in the future, when the Straw Hats are gone, someone strong like Colin can keep the peace. I like that. You know, I'm kind of a rooter for a lot of the kids in One Piece, right? Not just Colin, but Momonosuke, who technically isn't a kid anymore. Tama, right? Rebecca, who also isn't exactly a kid. It's weird. Like, what do you consider a kid? Like, under 18, 10, something like that? But yeah, I get what you mean. And I would love it if Collins did have Conquerors haki. And if Collins has Conquerors haki, Scopper? What does that say about Scopper? You know what I mean? So I think that'd be awesome. Maybe this is how he wakes up the kids even. Could that be the case? Like, no, we've only seen Conquerors haki put people to sleep. So if the kids are asleep and Collins uses Conquerors haki, will that wake up the kids? Like, two negatives equal a positive? Yeah, that's interesting. And I would love this, by the way, right? He would join the list of kids that have Conquerors haki, like Ace and Dofi and all of them. So yeah, I'm down for it. I'm down for it. This comment says, just imagine Gunko joining the Straw Hats as an honorary member like Carrot. I mean, if a member of the Don Quixote family like Baby 5 or Bellamy can join the Straw Hat Grand Fleet, then this can be possible too. She's halfway there with the pentless appearance for Brooke's taste. And right down below, they say, first Loki, now Gunko, why not ask the whole world to join the Straw Hats? Okay, to be fair, this is kind of what Luffy does. I mean, hey, you know, the ending of Wano, Luffy passed out 3 Nakama passes. Kinemon, Yamato, Momonosuke. Dude, Punk Hazard, people forget. Brownbeard got an invitation to join the Straw Hat crew. Broke my heart when he didn't join, by the way. Brownbeard was really cool. And then we go over to Thriller Bark. I think a tree and a weird zebra unicorn zombie also got the invitation to become Straw Hats. Like, Luffy doesn't really discriminate. Like, if you want to join and if you're good, he'll kind of let you, man. Like, you just have to ask, really. But as far as Gunko joining the Grand Fleet, I would like that. I think her joining the crew might be a little bit too crazy. But the Grand Fleet, not bad. Maybe Gunko has a fan club, right? And we know Gunko has the Abyss Circle. She can summon people. Imagine Gunko summons a fan club and they become their own group that follows Brook as a member of the Grand Fleet. Kind of like Barto, but instead of for Luffy, it's just for Brook. Would that work? I don't know. I feel like if you join the Grand Fleet, you have to like Luffy too. Like, you know, obviously they could just follow Brook and they don't have to join the Grand Fleet, but I feel like you have to have some respect for Luffy. But maybe she already has that. Because the song that Gunko likes, New World, that song that she listens to in this chapter is all about Luffy finding the One Piece with his friends and about how they're training during the time skip. So maybe she does like Luffy. You know, maybe she's already there, but that's a tough one, right? Like, when we listen to music, you know, all of us, by the way, whenever you really dive deep into the lyrics, I feel like you can relate some of them to yourself, but you don't exactly always represent those lyrics, you know what I mean? So maybe Gunko just likes the beat, but she doesn't like the messaging. Could be it. But overall, though, that is it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by and checking out these comments with me. I really freaking appreciate it. Hopefully, you guys had a good time as well. You know, I kind of like doing these comment videos. I like seeing what people have to say. I like seeing where people's mind goes to after reading the chapter and listening to the spoilers. But yeah, with that being said, y'all, I'll catch you guys next week. There's no break, so 11:45 is right around the corner. Peace out till then.